Morning, peeps. Good morning, everyone. Good bloody morning. Let's get that down, us. You know what we've not done in a long while? Just a normal vid. Just a normal vid, looking at the stories, looking at what's going on. There is a fight card this weekend. Joshua Boatzy headlines. It was supposed to be Terry Harper, but she obviously injured herself. So she's out of that world title fight. So it is Joshua Boatzy. We are going to do scores on the doors for that one. Before we start, though, I just want to say this video is sponsored by Le Bomb. They have partnered up with me again. That's thanks to you guys, Thanks to you guys hitting that subscribe button, liking the videos, leaving comments. So I've partnered up with Le Bomb again. For those of you that don't know what it is, the link is in the description. It is a betting app, but I think it's very, very different from your usual betting apps. Normally it's you versus the bookies, right? This isn't it. This is you versus your friends. Now I'm in a group with 6 of my buddies, and it's us against each other. Now whoever can predict the scores or get closest to the scores for the weekend's matches basically takes all the money. And what I mean by that is we all put a tenner in. So there's 6 of us, so there's 60 quid in the pot. Now, Le Bon will take their 10%. They've got to take something. They take their 10%. We take the rest. The winner takes it all. It's that simple. I done it last weekend and Lee Chappie took all the money. I will get my revenge this weekend. So you just basically predict the scores. Le Bon works it out all for you and they update you as to where you are on the table. I'm just going to go for a couple of the quick predictions for this weekend. You've got Burnley versus Leeds. I'm going to say that's tough, I'm going to say 2-1 Leeds. Go for a couple more. What else we got here? Fulham versus Southampton. Southampton, they beat Crystal Palace last night. I'm going to say Southampton win that one 2-0. Fulham can't score for love nor money. Brighton versus West Ham. West Ham still the European chance, but Brighton ain't no mugs, under Graham Potter. So that's it. So basically, you get your predictions in. You confirm your predictions, and then you just wait for it. You know what the worst thing is? That you start caring about matches that you don't really care about. Like all of a sudden, you get really competitive. But yeah, that's it. Check it out. Links in the description. And it's a bit of a friendly thing, right? Again, you're not going up against the bookies. It ain't nothing like that. It's a bit friendly. All right, before we kick off, I just want to quickly shout out my boy. My boy started his own clothing brand. This is one of his tops. Don't talk, show them. I can't lie to you. I love it. I love the quality of it. He's a young kid trying a thing, and he's doing very, very well right now. And he sent me a couple of bits, and this is one of the bits right here. So check this shit out. I will put his link in the description as well. Don't talk, show them. Let's support people. You know what I mean? Remember like last time when I started shouting out brands? Because I want to support people trying their things, man. I really do. All right. After all that, let's see what is going on in the good old world of boxing. My laptop's about to die. Hold on 2 secs, peeps. That's the last thing I want to happen. I mean, that'll be bloody ridiculous, wouldn't it? Thank you to all of you that jumped on the live yesterday, by the way. I'm having fun with those lives. It's good fun. All right. You know what we'll quickly do before we start anything? Let's quickly have a look at this Boatzy card on the weekend. I can't lie to you. I have seen it briefly, and it didn't look very appealing. Didn't look appealing at all. It was supposed to have a world title fight in it, so let's remember that before we critique it too much. All right, so main event, I'm guessing, will be, surely it's got to be Joshua Boatzy headlining against Daniel Dos Santos. Daniel Dos Santos is unbeaten, is 15-0, but he hasn't fought anyone, so yeah. Dalton Smith versus Lee Appleyard. A lot of people high on Dalton Smith, Lee Appleyard, solid, comes to fight. This is for the English super lightweight strap. Yeah, Dalton's going to win that one. Gamal fight 18-1 versus Jason Cunningham. So as much as these fights are like, the favourites are heavily favoured. But I mean, Jason Cunningham comes to fight. He's experienced. It's a European title shot. Tommy McCarthy versus Alexander Dure. European cruiserweight title fight. Tommy McCarthy's going to win that one as well. Lerone Richards. All right, now Lerone Richards, last time out, I thought looked very sluggish against Timo Lane, who had lost 14. Didn't look good in there. He needs to go through the gears quickly. He takes on Giovanni the Carrolls. Let's have a quick look at this Giovanni kid. I've never heard of him. I can't lie to you. I'm trying to look if he's fought anyone that I kind of know. Okay, yeah, he's fought Tyrone Zug, who beat him, stopped him. Who else? Okay, Bilal Akawi as well. Okay, so he's fought a few kids. Let's see what Lerone Richards can do. Obviously, Lerone Richards trained by Dave Coldwell. Dave, I think, has even openly said that he needs to like really step on the gas a bit more. Look, it's not a great card. I'm not going to try and pretend. No, it's not. It's not. But all the people that are favoured need to put on performances. Like, they're all, for me, like, they need to go. Boatsi needs to go. Lerone Richards needs to go. Tommy McCarthy, look, if he wins, he's going to fight Chris Billiams-Smith. So, look, he needs to put on a good performance. Gamal Yafai, Dalton Smith. There's some good fights on the card. So, good fighters on the card. I don't think they're in great fights. So, I'm not even going to give that a scores on the doors because I don't want to be disrespectful, because I could be very, very disrespectful. I think Billy Joe Saunders released a statement the other day. We haven't really spoken about it. Let's see if I can find the statement that he released. I'm sure someone's put it up somewhere. What's he said? Thanks everyone for messaging. Broken eye socket and broken cheekbone in 3 places. Operation yesterday all went well. You win some and you lose some. Didn't feel out of my league, but I got caught with a good shot and couldn't see. And Ben in the corner pulled me out. Thank you to all who watched. I'll be back. God bless you all. Interesting. I mean, look, that injury did look awful. It's almost like his face sunk after one punch, right? It was horrific. And ultimately, look, whoever made the decision, he says Ben in the corner, whoever made that decision to pull him out made the right decision. I know people are going to talk about what he said and the lead up to it and the Daniel Dubois stuff. Yeah, that's all correct. And I think he should get some for that. But ultimately, the right decision was made. Because if he carried on, like he said in the last line there, he will be back. Let me tell you now, if he went out for the 9th round, he would not be back. I mean, he would have been smashed to pieces in that last round. So ultimately, the right decision was made. It is good that he's saying he is going to be back because, look, I think there are some good fights out there for him. You know what it is? It all depends on how long he's out for. What is Billy Joe Saunders? I'm guessing Billy Joe Saunders is either 31 or 32. What is he? 31, 32 in August. He's going to be out the ring for a year. So he's going to come back 33, warm-up fight, 34. It's not easy. It's not easy because automatically, look, he's not going to come back straight into world level mix, is he? He's going to come back and he's going to have a warm-up fight, maybe 2 warm-up fights. He's not going to be fighting anyone of note until 34. I know that might sound crazy, but that's what I believe. I feel like he's going to have 2 gimme fights. But I don't know, man. With an injury like that, I mean, I've been watching some videos of doctors trying to explain the injury in more detail, and that his face basically is broken. Like his face, this side of his got broken. That's going to be difficult to come back from, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and obviously he's not an unbeaten fighter anymore. That's difficult to get over as well. Again, I keep referring to Prince Nassim Hamed when he fought Barrera. Prince Nassim Hamed came back. I remember he had that fight. Was it Wembley Arena? I think it might have been Wembley Arena. Completely different Nassim Hamed. Like, it wasn't even a shadow of him. It was almost his twin brother. It was completely different. So, look, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm hopeful he comes back just because, again, there are so many fights out there at 160. I don't think he can make 160 anymore, but 168. There's loads of fights, and the thing about it, they're big fights as well. Are they as big as Canelo? No. Are they as big as getting 73,000? No. But Chris Eubank Jr. over here, O2 Arena is a big fight. Callum Smith, MEN Arena, big fight, or Manchester Arena, big fight. Andrade in America, potentially big fight. You know, Charlotte. There are names out there. And if he sticks with Eddie Hearn, who obviously has a relationship with a lot of those guys I just mentioned, then those fights shouldn't be too difficult to make. Shouldn't be. He said in there that he didn't feel like he was out of his league. He wasn't. I did think that we were just about to see Canelo go through the gears a bit. That's what I felt. But he wasn't out of his league. He done well. But I guess, look, he done well for a few rounds. And that's all I was going to... I didn't think it was going to get any better, put it that way. And I think that's because you're not fighting at that level for the last 4 or 5 years. He's been fighting at a lower level. And he had to go from gear 1 to 5 very, very quickly in that fight. But it is good to hear him say that he'll be back because, look, I think he's an entertaining guy. He's a character. And ultimately, he's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. I don't think he's a great fighter, but I think he's a good fighter. By the time you guys watch this, I would have come back from Finchley Boxing Gym, AJ's amateur gym. I'm going there in... Shit, I need to hurry up. I'm leaving this house in about an hour to go there and do some interviews. Fingers crossed the big man turns up. You never know, right? He's normally there. Fingers crossed he's there. All right, what have we got here in terms of news? 2 secs, peeps. Hearn, after Canelo becomes undisputed, does he move up to 175? I don't know. I mean, he's been there. It's not like, does he move up? He's been to 175, but does he move there permanently? Look, for me, I don't want him to. I still think there's good work from him at 168, even if he does run through Caleb Plant. I mean, I still think there's guys there that I want to see fight. I do want to see Charlo move up to 168. I mean, I think he beats Benavidez, don't get me wrong, but who wouldn't want to see that, you know? And then the Andrade thing as well is interesting, because as much as people say, oh, he will beat Andrade, and who has Andrade fought? I mean, Andrade's resume is very, very similar to Billy Joe Saunders' resume. You could ask the question, who's Billy Joe Saunders beat? But everyone, and not only that, but their skill sets are quite similar as well. But I just think Andrade hits harder. So, I mean, if Billy Joe Saunders is getting the opportunity, yes, Billy Joe came with a belt and that's what Canelo wanted. But aside from that, if Billy Joe's getting the opportunity, then Andrade should as well, I think. But let Andrade go up to 168 and do something and then we'll see. Jake Paul, no exhibition. I want Floyd Mayweather to risk his 50-0 with me. No, you do not. Move on very quickly. Fury promoter on Joshua News. How many times has Hearn announced this? Frank just seems so bitter. He seems like a bitter guy, doesn't he? I mean, look, he's right in some of what he's saying, but I mean, Jesus, does he want this or not? Sometimes you wonder, does he really want this or not? Because again, and I said this, it almost looks like, and maybe this is Hearn's fault, but it looks like Hearn's the only one trying to make this fight work. Like he's the one that looks like he's having the discussions with the people in Saudi Arabia. It looks like he's the one that's really coming out there and speaking positive. The others are like, ain't happening. No, we haven't heard anything. Ain't happening. Man, just a bit of positivity. Fuck's sake. WBC Press, Mauricio Suleiman. Canelo is without a doubt the pound for pound king. Yeah. It's not even close. It's not even close, by the way. I was thinking the other day, like, who has the best resume fighting right now? And it's still Pacquiao, Canelo, Chocolatito. Who else has a very strong resume, like deep? Diner's fighting. Diner's resume is good. Who else? Loma's resume is pretty decent as well. Yeah. Hearn, Saunders didn't take a knee, didn't turn his back. He stayed in there. Does it matter? Like, this is the fallout because Hearn was very critical of Daniel Dubois. Hearn saying to bloody Frank Warren, you know, show proof that Daniel Dubois' eyes fractured. That kind of talk there is wrong for the sport. Wrong. Josh Taylor's Ramirez. By the way, Josh Taylor Ramirez, May 22nd. Wouldn't know it. We are going to do a live watch along for that. Teofimo Lopez, George Cambasos card moved to June 19th. Is that because of Floyd Mayweather, Jake Paul? Possibly is. I'm pretty sure that was on the same date. This is interesting. Daniel Jacobs eyes Jamal Charlo. That's a big fight. I don't see it why it can't happen. Wow. I think Jacobs' stock has dropped, if I'm honest with you, after that Rosado loss. and Charlos has gone up after Derevyanchenko win, and all of a sudden it makes sense. Do you remember that incident where they were in the hallway with each other, and Jamal Charlo was chirping, and Jacobs walked past. Then Jacobs was like, "Dude, I'm getting M's. Basically, why am I going to fight you? I'm getting M's." Now all of a sudden, this is boxing, right? A year and a half later, it's a fight that makes sense, and it's a big fight. Be interesting. Right now, I think I would favour Charlo in that fight, if I'm honest with you. Back then, it would have been Jacobs. This is what Eddie Hearn said the other day, didn't he? That Fury Joshua is pretty much done for August 7th or August 14th. Like, I done a live yesterday about it, so we're not going to continue to go over old ground. Fingers crossed, man. Fingers bloody crossed. What else have we got here? A few more stuff on Canelo Saunders. Don't really need to go over that. Joseph Parker would consider Filip Hrgović IBF final eliminator. Yeah, Michael Hunter's not fighting anymore, is he? I don't know what's happened there, but Hrgović Hunter's not happening. Parker Hrgović would be a good fight. I mean, I actually want to see Parker, to be fair, stay in camp a bit longer and learn some things with Andy Lee. Like right now, my hope right now is that, when was the Chisora Parker fight? 3 weeks ago? My hope right now is that 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, that Parker right now is in a gym with Andy Lee right now, learning stuff. Because I need to see way more from Parker. Parker was, for me, was always like a top 10 guy. He's not that anymore. True, he's not that anymore. I need to see way more. Jean Pascal impressed after sparring with Logan Paul for pay-per-view belts. I feel like a lot of these guys are just paid to say this shit, you know? I'm not joking. I feel like a lot of these boxers are paid to say this stuff. Like, and hey, fuck it. Take the money. Because I actually think Jake Paul is impressive. I really do think Jake Paul's got good hands, you know. Not like any decent level of like a real boxer, but he's got good hands to the point where he will cause MMA guys and other guys that want to cross over big problems. But Logan, not impressed with Logan at all. What have we got here? Anything else? 2 secs. You know that, yeah, we'll end on this one. Oh, okay, Hrgović backs Joshua. He has more tools to beat Tyson Fury. You know, Canelo's deal with Matchroom and DAZN is done. So he did a 2-fight deal. 2-fight deals was Yildirim and Billy Joe Saunders. So basically, it is done. Obviously, I expect him to re-up with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. It looks like he's got a really good relationship with Eddie, by the way. I mean, that speaking English thing, and look, it's not his mother tongue, he doesn't have to speak English. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's about time. Why is it about time if it's not his mother tongue? But I love the idea of Eddie bringing that out in him. I almost feel like I'm seeing a completely different Canelo. Like the Canelo that was with Golden Boy almost seemed moody, right? Didn't really want to talk. This Canelo seems funny, happy. Maybe it's because we are seeing behind the scenes things, and maybe he was always like this, but it seems like he's loving his relationship with Eddie Hearn. So, I mean, fucking hell, a penny for the thoughts of Eddie Hearn. You got fucking AJ and Canelo. And people tell me he doesn't run boxing. All righty. All right. Peace and love.